Okay, now I bought the smartwatch for $5 and shade. And today we're gonna find out if you should even buy a smartwatch or is $5 worth anything. Now, typically, Shane's not a platform where you buy tech gadgets. I mean, tech gadgets are there, they're just not recommendable to the fullest. But this smartwatch really caught my eye, mainly because of the price. $85, what can you get? Hi, if you like tech that fits into real life budget, subscribe below as we delve into tech that, well, most of us can afford. Now, let's talk about the packaging. And the packaging is very simple. I mean, what do you really expect? Now, it comes with a plain, simple box which says smartwatch. Yeah, and then we move on to the inside. And inside, there's this plastic thing. And inside the plastic, there's the watch head. And then the watch head, there are two straps, two black straps, which are plasticky, they feel plasticky. And then the most interesting part is the charger. Now, this charger is a bit different from most smartphone chargers, especially nowadays, where smartwatches come with the C-type charger. Because, well, C-type is generally the universal charger. Even Apple adopted it. But this charger is peculiar. Apparently, I have to stick or fit the bottom part into the charger, where it's usually where the heart rate monitor is. At the end, it has a USB-A, which kind of raises the question of this charger is quite different. And considering the price of this watch, that it only costs $5, what if I lose the charger then? How am I supposed to replace this charger? Because I don't know. If the watch costs $5, I don't think you can buy a charger for like $1. If the charger is dead, basically that means that I can't use the watch anymore. I mean, that's what you get at the end of the day. Now, from afar, it looks like a decent smartwatch where a typical individual would not tell the difference unless they come up close and they see the straps. Now, the straps are the ones that kind of sell you out, because I had a lot of people asking me if it was an Apple smartwatch, which is really interesting. So they're gonna tell you about the design. First impressions, I really love the shape of the watch head, and it's big enough to see everything I need. Even in the sunlight in Zimbabwe, you can use it very well. And the straps and the button is quite easy to use, although it's a bit plasticky, but it works well. The straps, however, considering that they're plastic, I found them not to be very comfortable to wear during sleep, which is kind of a big downside, because as a smartwatch, you want it to track things like your sleep and your heart rate, etc. Setting it up was pretty easy. There's a QR code at the back of the box that takes you to an application that's called the HryFine application, the HryFine application. You open the application, you pair your smart through Bluetooth, and then you also connect on the application to the smartwatch, making it seamless. And from there on, you can toggle on all the notifications that you might want or might need. What kind of features would you get from the smartwatch? Well, to be honest, it has a lot of features for a $5 smartwatch. It comes with the regular fitness app, and in the fitness app, you have different sport modes, tracks your heart, your sleep. The camera application, pairing it up with your phone, you can snap a picture using your smartwatch. It has a game. It actually has this car game, which is pretty sick. Yeah, this game is actually kind of nice. And then there's a WeChat application that comes with it that tells you that this is a Chinese device. It has a lot of pre-installed application like X, Facebook, WhatsApp, multiple styles that you can change. You can change different app views. This is pretty insane, actually. Even has this cool application that tells you when to drink water. You can actually set it to what time you want, which is pretty cool. So in terms of the application and the features are limitless. For a smartwatch that costs $5, I was pretty impressed because it actually comes with a lot of pre-installed applications. But the downside is that with those applications like WhatsApp or Instagram or Facebook, what you can only do is see the notifications. You cannot reply back as opposed to other smartwatches. Now, talking about the core feature, because this is a Bluetooth device, you can essentially call with it. And I've called a couple of people and been on the call a couple of people, and I told them I was using a watch, and they basically couldn't tell much of a difference from using my phone. And that kind of tells you about the quality. I didn't have the time to kind of test out some of the sport features to see how accurate they were, as I would also need another smartwatch to use it to compare it, but I was just only using this one. Now, quick question before we continue. What is the cheapest functional tech that you've bought? Drop it down in the comments below. Let's talk about this from a real user perspective, from someone that actually paid money, even though it wasn't a lot, but still money nevertheless. Things that I hated the most are, number one, the weather application is way off. If you check the weather application on your phone and you check this one, you have no idea where the reading is coming from, which kind of made me doubt almost every reading that I made. And it did this weird thing where I tested the heart rate monitor and I was holding the watch, not wearing it, and it still gave me a reading. Now, when it comes to sleeping with the watch, because the straps are plastic, when you wear plastic and you sweat, it kind of gets itchy. I don't know if it's just me. The straps are not that comfortable with the watch head. You feel like something is on your arm. Most people, when they're going to bed with wearable tech, the goal is to feel like you're not wearing any tech, because if you can feel it on your hand, itchy, then it kind of defeats the whole process and you don't want to wear that piece of tech to bed anyways. And lastly, the alarm. Now, the alarm system is way too loud for apparently no. Now, I know the goal of the alarm is to wake you up, but to wake you up violently, bro. Like, this thing wakes you up in a violent manner. I'm talking everyone in the house is going to wake up with this thing. Now, the worst part is that you set the alarm on your phone, and when the alarm rings, you can hit stop on your phone, but you still have to manually hit stop on the smartwatch. Now, that's a pain to everyone else. This watch is kind of taking bits and pieces from different watches, which kind of makes sense, because if you're selling a $5 product, you don't really have the budget to do research and design. So you just kind of take what's in the market and just kind of go with it. Now, one of the most impressive things about the watch is the battery life. You charge this thing once, and I'm telling you, you can go for more than a week without needing to recharge, which would be very painful because of the whole charger situations anyways. But still, 1.5 weeks or up to 2 weeks with this battery life, that's pretty insane. And it kind of thumbs all flagship smartwatches where you constantly have to charge them, but which kind of makes sense because those smartwatches are very sophisticated devices and they're running sophisticated softwares, whereas this pretty much is a Bluetooth device with smartwatch features. Now, the question is, should you buy the smartwatch? Well, if you're looking for something premium and something refined with sophisticated software, then no. Or maybe you just prioritize functionality and you don't want those smartwatches that has tons of features that you never use, and for that reason you're paying absurd amount of money. You just want something that tells the time and that functions as a smartwatch, then this is a great pickup. For only $5, what it has, the app and all the features, and even the sleek kind of look, this is a steal for $5. Now, if you like this review and you'd like to see more reviews like this that kind of targets tech that most of us can afford, then hit the subscribe below. I'm Munya and this has been Behind the Tech. Until next week, stay blessed.